Hello, my name is Felipe Barradas from Firmin Abatement Specialist. We're here because we're going to be doing a high-risk asbestos abatement job today in the attic space. House inspection revealed that they have vermiculite under the blown-in insulation, and in order for the owner to sell the home, she needs to get it removed. Now, the first thing you need to do is have all your paperwork ready. When OH&S comes in, you need to provide them with the logbook, you need to provide them with the safe job procedures and the notice of project 14 days in advance. All that has been completed at this job, and now we're basically ready to start after we finish the video. And the first thing that you're going to notice is our workstation. This is an empty house. We have floors protected as well because there's going to be quite a bit of traffic of people coming in and out. Everybody that comes into the job site will have to sign in to make sure that we have a record of them. We have specialty equipments in here in case they are needed, and we have chemicals as well. Safety data sheets are included in the manual as well. Okay, in these cases, when we're setting up our containment, we want to make sure that we label and we put signs for anybody that comes into the job site. If somebody enters the home or the homeowner comes back during the project, they need to know that this is unsafe to come in unless you have the respirator equipment. For our setup containment, we have a clean room coming into containment. Then there is a shower at the back. We have hoses hooked up to the washer downstairs. If you notice, we also have a manometer that will keep the pressure inside the containment. It keeps track of it for us, so if we lose pressure and there's a risk of fibers being released into the home, it will start beeping an alarm. We will stop activities immediately and find the problem. We also have a portable vacuum because we're using a shower inside a home that is temporary. We want to make sure that we have an emergency plan in case there's a flood in the home. This is just before we go into containment. It takes us about a day to a day and a half to set up all these to make sure the house is protected before we even start removing or disturbing any asbestos. So here we are. As you can see, there's many steps that have to be taken before we start our work. We had a clean room where we went in first, then we had a shower, and then we have a dirty room. After that, there's still another flap, and we come into the hallway. As you can see, we have poly hang up on the walls, ceiling, and floors. Because this is a high-risk project, we want to make sure we don't release any fibers into the house. And this allows us to spray freely once the job has been completed. We seal and we bond any loose fibers into the poly, and then we take everything down once we have passed a clearance test. The machine is not running. We are not wearing respirator masks at the moment because we haven't gotten into the attic space. This is just prep work. We have our negative air machine that is going to create negative pressure in the containment. It's going to pull out any air from the attic space through the machine on a HEPA filter and exhaust to the outside of the house. These machines have to be DOP tested, which means they need to comply with a 99.93% filtration rating. Okay, these particles of asbestos fibers will get trapped in the filter, and then it will be sealed off the unit until the next job. If you notice, we also have a small vacuum in here, which is in an asbestos bag. And it's a clear one, so we don't throw them away. And we put them there. They are clean, but we want to make sure that nobody touches them. They are only supposed to be used on asbestos jobs. Once we completed the job, everything is going to be wiped down, cleaned up, and housekeeping is the most important part on any asbestos project because cross-contamination is the biggest issue that contractors have when they are trying to get a clearance test. Hi, good morning. My name is Felipe Barradas from Firmin Abatement, and we have completed our asbestos project which had included vermiculite removal in the attic space. What it entailed during the project, we had a daily monitoring of our environment. We had a sample set in this room where it's the entry area for all the workers to monitor fibers. Then we had another one in our clean room to make sure that when we're taking out the waste and the employees are coming out of the containment, they are not bringing fibers with them. And the third monitoring we had, it's called occupational. We put a monitor next to our chest and our respirator so we can count how many fibers are in the air while we are doing the work. This is to prevent the workers to be overexposed to the dangerous materials. Once we finished, then we started doing the workload. It included removal of insulation by hand. We had to bag all the waste. Then we used our special vacuum with HEPA filtration to remove all the vermiculite from the attic space. It was set up outside the house, so there was no fibers coming through the house at that point. It saves a lot of time, a lot of material as well, and a lot of labor that has to be working in the attic space. And once we finished doing that, there was still some more waste underneath the vermiculite, and at that point we had to scrape that waste and treat it as asbestos, bag it and take it out of containment as well. Once all that's done, we proceeded to do encapsulant and a sealant, so any fibers remaining in the air will drop down and they will be bonded to the building materials. In this case will be the rafters and the roof and the ceiling below. Once we completed that, Pinch & West came back to do our clearance test, and we passed. It took 2 hours to do monitoring and then count the fibers, and we were below I believe 0.01 fibers per cubic centimeter. So that's a really low number of fibers, and it's safe now for everybody to do their work in the attic space. At this point, we're waiting for the landfill to authorize us to dispose of the waste. Everything is in our trailer, secure and locked, so nobody can have access to it. Once the wind dies down, we're going to dispose of all that waste. And the final step on this project is going to be to re-insulate the attic, and that is happening right now, so we're hoping to have it completed within the next 2 days. Thank you.